Everyone keeps on talking about 4 years ago, but and I understand why from you guys' point of view.
Andy Farrell and his team may not be thinking about 4 years ago, but the rest of the world are. Can Ireland finally end the quarter-final curse? 7 times in 9 Rugby World Cups, Ireland made it to the quarter-finals, and 7 times in 9, they made it no further. In this episode of Beyond 80, I'm joined by former Argentinian player Juan Manuel Leguizamon, and we're going to talk about whether it's any different in 2023.
Yes, loads.
Argentina played Ireland 4 times. They won 3 of those games. Why are Argentina so good at beating Ireland?
I don't think it's about Argentina against Ireland or Ireland against Argentina. I think it's about processes and teams and times and different World Cups, different moments. I think Ireland built a really strong team in every area, so that's what it counts now.
Well, 4 years ago, Ireland were number 1 in the world, and they were beaten by Japan and then well beaten by New Zealand in the quarterfinals. This year, they're number 1 in the world. There's a couple of reasons why it might be different this time around. So, first of all, we're going to look at their attacking shape. When we're talking about attacking shape, I guess we talk about the options that any player who has the ball has around them. Well, one of the things they've got to their advantage is that a lot of them play together at Leinster. It's something that the Argentina had with the Jaguares a few years ago. That must be a massive benefit.
They know each other, how to play, how to speak to each other, and communication is key, of course. That's an important fact.
We're going to go through this Irish attack against Romania. We can see that they've got Sexton in behind, and then they've got the shape to go out wide to Bundyaki, who's been fantastic so far.
Yeah.
So that's the first phase that we've got there. And Ireland is showing Romania a particular type of attacking shape. But then the second phase, this is Gibson Park passing to Sexton.
Yeah.
He's then got the forwards outside of him. So we've seen 2 phases there, 2 completely different attacking shapes. How hard is that to defend?
It's really hard because, as I said before, you can see in that play 3 options. 1 for the ball carrier, passing outside or to the back behind. It's really hard to defend a team like that where you know that they can do every option in a good way. So it's important for the defense to be really tight and to have a superior connection to defend, because otherwise at one point they're going to break you.
Well, we see here, it's quite a simple attacking shape in that it's a flat line, but one of Ireland's core skills is those little tip passes, which are so hard to defend.
Oh, yeah. They are like finding spaces. I don't think they are thinking we're going to score from this moment, but they are building and with these little passes trying to break at least for 1-2 meters and then make that defense unorganized.
I guess the core of that is you've got to keep going forward in those collisions. You've got to get past the gain line. Once you get past the gain line, much more attacking opportunities open.
Oh, yes. When you break the line, even if it's 1 meter, 2 meters, I'm not talking about breaking 15 meters. Even if it's 1 or 2, it's enough.
Well, we've got this third phase here. So again, it's going to Sexton, and he's got 2 forwards outside of him. You know, what we see different to what we've seen before is Sexton is going to cut across them.
Yeah.
So he's in the middle of what we might call a pod. We've got a forward man, which is Sexton. We've got someone on the inside, and we've got someone on the outside. And then he goes for this, what we call a tunnel ball, the pass between 2 attackers out the back here to James Lowe. And as complicated as this is, the basics are just simple passing, accurate passing, and putting it in front of the receiver. Yeah,
it seemed to be very accurate. For every phase, you can see different options, and very well executed, so even better.
And we see here Ty Byrne makes a carry and he steps back inside. Now that's important. What we might expect him to do is try and go around the outside.
Yeah.
A lot of attack coaches don't want rucks out wide, and that's just because it's so easy to defend. And then we've had this slow build up of successful phases, and then we have the strike move here that ends in the try. So it's something similar to what we saw before. This time we see early on Peter Mahoney puts his hand up early to indicate that he's the one they want to go for. It's Sexton, a flat line of forwards outside of him. That communication, getting that in early, why is that important for the attack?
It's so important. You know, communication is the easiest tool you can have. You have to talk. You don't have to run or tackle or make big efforts. So it's so important that you have teams that they don't communicate well. So it's one of the most important tools you can have in a team.
So we see it goes out to Peter Mahangi, and then it's a little tip pass, and then it's a try into the posts. And that's come from just sustained pressure throughout the phases, getting over the gain line, the simple basic skills, but also that incredibly complicated attacking pattern.
I think they, as we said before, they were building it and seeing and reading the weaknesses of the defense. So they did it amazingly well.
And you've obviously played at a number of different clubs across your career. How long does it take to get into that attacking shape and learn it?
It depends. It depends of the team. It depends of the players. You need to stick to one idea, like a good idea, if it's possible. If it's good, better. And stick with that and work. And I think Ireland does that.
Well, we can see in this second example, and we're going to use Live Tag Pro just to show you what's going on here. So we've got Sexton as the first receiver, but crucially he's got a man on the inside and he's got options on the outside. So as a defender, when you're seeing that, it's hard to know where the ball's going to go.
Yeah. That's why you need to communicate. So it's important for our defense to be really connected. It's hard, I promise you it's hard.
And as we saw against Tonga, you can't just leave Sexton alone because he can carry well.
That's an important thing to mention. Normally we see Sexton passing the ball all the time, but as soon as he sees a space, he show and go. And of course, for the defense, if you see Sexton or a number 10 or whoever passing all the time the ball, you start to think like he's going to pass the ball. So you go straight to the next guy, and that's when he show and he goes.
Well, we see here he does go inside, but then the second phase is a really nice bit of attacking play where Sexton sweeps out the back. He's got two forwards in front of him. Romania have to defend those two forwards. And it just tightens that defence. And then I guess ultimately, by tightening that defence, you'd leave yourself loads of space. If we look here, the widest Romanian defender is just slightly outside the post. And from there, it's a fairly straightforward try. But the skills, the basic skills that we're looking at are absolutely exceptional. There's a wonderful pass from Sexton out the back, and then a second wonderful pass out to Ty Burn on the wing, who goes in. We've talked a lot about the shape and the complicated shape, but underpinning all that is just basic skills like that.
100%. Yeah, but that comes with hard work and consistency to make things look easy, you know. But people will say, "Oh yeah, that's easy." Okay, do it like that, like a 20 meters pass or 15 meters pass, and that comes with a lot of work and repetition. 100%. Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Wang. How do you pressure that Irish attack? How can you stop those options?
It is hard. It's important to communicate, to have the capacity to read the attack, to go up as much as possible, to try to kill those options. But at the same time, doing that is hard.
You talked there about that emotional link. In 2007, Argentina were exceptional. They got to the semi-finals, something obviously Ireland have never done. But one of the crucial points there was it seemed like a team who were very together, very cohesive, and wanted to play for one another.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, we were really committed. But I think what we have in that World Cup, it was this emotional link, a high-level commitment. So that I think that was one of our weapons to go to semi-finals.
In 2019, Ireland's attack didn't look like this. It was a lot more basic. It was effective against perhaps the weaker oppositions in their group, but when they came up against Japan, when they came up against New Zealand, and especially when they didn't have a line out as an attacking weapon, it fell flat. It's very different this year.
They've been working really hard, I think. It seems to be a very good process and a very good moment for Ireland now.
Well, we've talked there about their attack, but their defence as well is absolutely exceptional.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
They've gone 12 games now where they've held the opposition to 20 points or fewer. That's against teams like South Africa, France, Scotland. That's absolutely incredible. How How impressive is it to see Ireland's defence?
Yeah, if you are the number one, you have to be good in every area, and I think that's the case for Ireland.
So Ireland's forwards are fantastic in defence, but they're also incredibly useful in attack.
Yeah.
We're beginning to see more of a trend of forwards operating in attack. That's something that maybe you weren't doing at the start of your career, but it was something you were doing by the end.
They seem to know how to do everything, like even if they are props, back rows, like they can do every single role in a good ways.
Well, we can see this here with this third clip. First of all, go for the carry with Andrew Porter. So this is a simple one-out carry, but it's made better by the fact that Porter could pass. And as soon as he can pass, it creates confusion in the Tongan defenders.
Oh, yes, yes.
We see that here again in the second phase. We've got Sexton, but then outside him, we've got Omani in 6, and then we've got Tyburn in number 4. So we've got our 2 forwards out wide, and actually Ireland made 49% of their forward carries outside of the 15-metre channel. Typically that might be a quarter or maybe a third of all carries by forwards were made that wide. We see here Ireland's ability to get to the edge. This is against a team who perhaps are playing a slightly softer defence. They're going to face South Africa next week, who are going to play this press defence, get in their face with the intention of stopping them from going wide.
It's a good challenge. We're going to see an amazing match with 2 of the best teams in the world. So I cannot predict anything.
So the basics of all this is in attack, you've got to get over the gain line. And against a team like South Africa, that's an incredibly tough proposition.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge for Ireland to attack South Africa. We know about South Africa defence, how good they can be. But as we said before, Ireland having a lot of options to execute. It's going to be good to see, to be honest. Yeah, it's a massive game to watch.
We've identified Johnny Sexton at fly half, Hugo Keane at fullback, and Andrew Porter, who plays the loose head prop, as the 3 key Irish players.
Yeah.
In the last 20 games that each of them have played, they've only lost a combined 5 times between them. One of the reasons why they're such key players for Ireland is because there's not a huge amount of depth behind them. So if we look at fly half, the 2 other fly halves in the squad have only got 29 caps. Ireland haven't really solved the problem of what happens if Johnny Sexton isn't there.
Yeah, but I think the boys behind Sexton are ready to roll and ready to perform.
Well, in 2007 you had a similar situation where you had Mario Ledesma, Augustin Pichot and Felipe Contepone, who were the core of that team. Yeah. Were you ever concerned about what would happen if one of them wasn't there, and what would you have done?
I was very young, so I wouldn't know, to be honest. But but I think that team as well, similar to Ireland now, probably will be in trouble because they were so key for us.
So Ireland can escape their group, and then they're likely going to play one of France or New Zealand. What do they have to do to break the curse?
Well, I think it's important for Ireland to keep doing what they're doing. Of course, they are playing the best teams in the world in these quarterfinals, semifinals, so yeah, nothing. There's no secret, I think, and I'm sure they know that. So they seem to be very focused and very committed for this World Cup.
So that's what Wang reckons. But what do you think? Is this the year that Ireland finally break the curse? And can they go all the way to the World Cup final? Let us know in the comments. This has been Beyond 80, and we'll be back next week.